But then you should talk about your direction and path because I don't think I've ever seen you this motivated for one specific thing, which
Yeah.
is the schooling. Like I thought you were going to go a different direction, and you surprised me with it.
Yeah.
don't know if
What
you wanna
direction
tell.
did you think I was gonna go?
I honestly thought when the union was going to call you, you were
Yeah.
going to say yes. So I honestly thought like, okay, eventually they are going to call you, and you
Yeah.
are going to be doing the same thing that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And once they called you, you kind of told them no.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like he said no to the union? Like, dude, if it's working out for me, like eventually it'll work out for you. But
Right.
I mean, that's where you can.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I started off like the first job I ever really had, or like significant job, like real job that I ever had. It was pretty much, property management. And I feel like I went from, being a temp there and like within a couple of months became a property manager. And like, I felt like for when it came to work, like, and like learning and like really just like becoming an employee, like I was really good at advancing. And so that's how I feel like I was a property manager 2 different times in property management what was it?
Span of
It was like a span of like
a year or
2 years, like,
yeah, which
so
is
it's
pretty
like-
impressive.
Yeah. So I feel like it was very easy for me to advance. And it's for some people that's a career, that they can be in that the rest of their life, but for me, it wasn't enough. Like I felt like just the industry was just it wasn't secure enough. And I wanted something secure because I knew like I had goals. I had like ambitions. Like I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to, have a family, be a husband, be a father one day. And I don't want one day just for my property to sell, or my company to sell my property, and then it's like, oh, I'm out of a job, and it's like, oh wait, like what am I supposed to do now? So I wanted something more secure, which is like why I was kind of going towards the union.
For those who don't know, when I applied for the plumbers union, Danny was right next to me the entire time. We took our test together. We did our oral interview together.
Yeah.
It took me 2 years to get in, and then I think they tried calling Danny after like 2 years and like 4 months or something like that. I think it was,
Yeah, I eventually, so I had to get kind of out of property management. So I went into, I just did like a corporate office job at it was like a temp job, but it was for Harbor Freight. And I liked it. It was really good. I knew like there was growth there, but I still didn't see myself there. Like it was just, I don't know. I just couldn't see myself at that job forever.
It was just a stepping stone.
Yeah. It felt like a really good stepping stone. I'll tell you that. Like it felt like it was a really good part for me to like kind of transition in my career. But yeah, I mean, I looked into like I always, when I was a kid, like I really wanted to be like a psychiatrist because I really liked helping people. And then like
you went to school for that too, didn't you?
Well, yeah, in college I majored in psychology.
Okay.
So I mean, the medical field in itself, I was always like intrigued about. So I mean, I looked into like X-rays and stuff, like just like more general medical stuff. Just kind of looked into it, and I found X-rays or radiology, and I actually got intrigued. And for about a year, I was just kind of looking in and out. Eventually, I got like, there's a recruiter that like hit me up. They're like, hey, just come to the school, check it out. Just, no commitments, just check it out. And when I did, like, I actually liked it. I was like, you know what? Like, I think I want to do this. And it's an advanced program, so I had to test into it and everything. But I'm at the end pretty much, where I literally just have to do my state exam.
Couple weeks away.
And yeah, I have my license.
Nice.
So, but like the thing what I like about radiology is like, there's not just, I mean, there's like for the first time, I can see my career, like I can envision my career. Like I can see, all right, in the next couple of years, I'm going to be here. Next couple of years after that, I'm going to be doing this and this and this, like for example, now it's like, okay, I'm going to be an limited X-ray tech, but in 2-3 years, I'm going to be a radiation technician. So I'm going to have that license. And then maybe a year after that, I'll be certified in MRI. Maybe a year after that or months after that, I'll have CAT scan, and there's like just different modalities that I'm actually really interested in. So
Like
I like
different levels to it.
yeah. So I like what the future holds for me in my career. Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, because you could see yourself climbing up the ladder,
Mm-hmm.
putting another notch, another certification,
Yeah.
another skill on your resume that's going to help you even potentially have multiple opportunities or multiple doors open for you. Like I think we were talking about, the cottage hospitals is like
Yeah,
an ideal place to be. Eventually,
And there's a lot of work. Like there's a lot of positions. Like I had applied for a position, and like they called me back like right away. Like literally like 2 days later or like a day later, they called me back. They're like, "Hey, are you available or whatever? Like, we're really interested in you." And I was like, "Oh, like I actually don't even have my license yet." And they're like, "Oh, well, when are you gonna get it? Like, when are you gonna take the exam?"
they need people.
Yeah, like they're really like needing. I was like, "Oh, well, like." As you know, like there's a 6-week process and blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, well, let's stay in touch. Like, once you get it, like call me, like maybe we'll have something for you. So it's like, just like that, like they called, like I applied just to see like what the process was, and it was very quick. So there's a lot of
Prospects.
openings, a lot of positions available.
So you got their hopes up.
opportunities. I pretty much got their hopes up, but there's a lot of opportunities in radiology, which is something that I like.
And the cool thing about that is that you can cross that through different states. I mean, like
Yeah. Certain
you could go, well, I mean, to a certain extent, but you know what I mean. Like there,
Yeah.
wherever there's a urgent care, a hospital, anywhere where they do X-rays,
Yeah.
there's going to be a position that maybe needs to be filled, or someone's going to be retiring soon,
Right.
or they're just maybe need an extra person. There's a position there, potential everywhere.
Yeah, like the one thing I do like about like that job is, or like that career is, like if I were to move anywhere, like any place needs X-rays. Like
Oh yeah.
if there's there's certain places where it's like seasonal stuff is like, okay, like let's just say like agriculture or whatever, like there are certain seasons where it's like they're out of work or something, or like construction, it's like when it's raining, when it's snowing and stuff, like they can't work.
There's limitations.
For medical field, there's
The medical field.
you need a medical
Go
field.
anywhere.
You need
That's why they always say law enforcement, medical field, and education. They're always going to be a need. There's always going to be a need for those core lines of work, because of the fact that it's a necessity.
It's a necessity. Yeah.
Necessity, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I this is like the first time that I feel like, yeah, like I said, like I can envision, like it's a beautiful thing. I think when you can see like your next 5 years, like just like you could just envision it. Like it's like there's times where like you're just like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I for a little bit, like even when I was in property management, when I was working at Harbor Freight, like I was like what's my next thing? Like how am I gonna grow? Like am I really gonna be here? Like I would ask myself those questions, and it's like is this really it? Like this, like where am I gonna go from here? How can I grow from here? How am I gonna get to, like, how am I gonna buy a house? Like when I was in property management, it's like, how am I gonna buy a house if I'm living in my property? So I mean, that's the one thing that excites me, and that I feel like it's easy for me to be motivated by it because I'm loving it too. Like I love what I do. So
Yeah, it's always pretty much great when you love what you do. Like
Yeah.
I'm assuming you, Richard, you love what you do, right? You're outdoors, you're building fences, you're happy with the end project, you're dealing with your team, that you build a camaraderie with them. I'm sure there's that sense of like satisfaction from it, right?
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
think-
like when you love what you do, it's like you're never really working.
Yeah.
It's like you're living life in a sense. Like you're doing, obviously, there's those stressful days and everything like that, but like work just feels easy in a sense. Like I don't know how to explain it.
No,
But
I get you, because for me, I always get this sense of satisfaction when I complete a job, because of the fact that it's like, oh, it was messed up.
Yeah.
Now it's fixed.
Yeah.
And you see it and you're like, it works. Everything is nice. Everything is good. So you get that like instant gratification where it's like, I did this. Like building puzzle or something, like building a
Yeah.
Lego set or something like that, and you fix it and it works and everything, and then the customer's happy. That all ties in together. I get those hits of like, I don't know, like endorphins
Yeah.
or dopamine hit every
Yeah.
single time. That like high of it every single job that I finish.
Yeah, and I'd
So-
imagine like even for you, like sometimes there's like you see this problem, but like in your head you see the solution. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I kind of see that, like that's kind of how I feel like with my career. It's like, yeah, like right now, like, yeah, technically I don't have a full time position, you know, technically I don't have my license yet, you know, but it's like, but I see my career, like I see my career, like I see where I'm going to be. So yeah, that's the one thing that kind of keeps me like, motivated, like
All in due
the only
time,
like
type of
the
deal.
one thing that's like stressful is the waiting part of it, which is right now, but it's gonna be worth it in the end.
Ooh, and that's
you
the
know?
most important thing.
That's- yeah.
what the Bible is all about.
Patience,
you know?
yeah,
Patience.
patience.
Being
Yeah.
patient on His promises and
Mm-hmm.
all that is to come.